Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm working in an off-the-board project, and that is something pulled from Pinterest. And the pin that we are using today is this beautiful tropical mood board, and I have pulled inspiration from the leaves and the water for my layout today. I am also combining it with this sketch that is a challenge over at Redefined Creative. It's the Thursday night sketch from last week, and it is good until tomorrow, Thursday, end of day. So I have decided to cut some leaves on my digital die cut machine. You can see a pile of them over there on the right hand side. I originally had intended on using that green mottled kind of look for my layout, but then as I was flipping them over, I decided to use the other side. But I wanted you to see that green mottled look there before I start flipping them over, just so you could see what I started with. And then in this sketch it calls for some mixed media, and so I wanted to kind of replicate that oceany look that was in the mood board and also in my photos. So I started with some speckled egg distress oxide ink, and then I'm going to add a little bit of salty ocean to it just to give it a little bit more blue. My photos have that blue that's like salty ocean in the sky, but the water is more like the speckled egg color. And then there's also a little bit of green, so I'm going to add a little bit of twisted citron and cracked pistachio just to give a little bit of that greenish yellow tinge to some of the areas. So that's what I'm doing. Now this is just plain old white cardstock. It's not prepped in any way, and when I do the packaging technique, that's probably the first thing I go with is an unprepped paper, because if I prep it with gesso, all of that ink is going to sit on top. You're going to have to wait for it to really dry. It's not going to just saturate your paper for this type of a look. So then I decided I'm going to use some of the iridescent glaze from Vicki Boutin, and I'm going to put it through this little fishy stencil. My photos are of a beach in Hawaii that I'm standing on, and so I thought this was perfect. This is one of my favorite stencils. It's super small. It's either by Echo Park or Cartabella, and it's just these little tiny fish, and I think it's perfect. And you can flip it over and have them face the other direction, but you can just have these little schools of fish all over your paper. So how fun is that? Perfect for all your beach photos and all your tropical vacations. Then I am just splattering a little bit of I think it's Nuvo, I don't know if it's called Glimmer, it's not Glimmer, Shimmer Mist or something like that. I'm just sprinkling a little of that in that blue that matches the salty ocean look. And then I decided my other two fishy areas needed a little bit of mixed media. Wish I would have done it a little bit before I did the stenciling, but that's okay. It works out, and those areas are so small by the time the embellishments get added, it's not a big deal anyway, that a couple of the fishies have a little bit of a blue tinge to them. So we'll just go with it. So these are my two photos. They are fairly similar. One is taken at a further distance than the other one. So the one that is at the further distance I'm going to make smaller. That's going to be about a 3x3, and I am much smaller in the photo than I am in the other photo, which is about a 3x4. And my husband took those photos. These are from our trip to Hawaii. We went to Kauai, and this is at Lydgate Beach, I believe is what it's called. It's either Lydgate or Lydgate. Anyway, I think it's Lydgate if you pronounce it phonetically. So it's just me hanging out at the water. We didn't really swim here or snorkel here or anything. We just kind of stopped, put our feet in, checked it out. We were on our way somewhere else actually, and so that's why we didn't really spend a whole lot more time there. And this is a really good beach for kids because it has this rock outcropping that you can see in the photos, and it goes all the way around and makes like a big semicircle up back towards the beach. So you're a bit protected by that rock outcropping. Your waves aren't quite as big, and you can only go out so far because of it. So anyway, here's all these little tropical leaves that I had cut on my digital die cut machine. And again, I was going to use that bluish greenish mottled kind of color. And when I flipped it out over, I was like, oh my gosh, the other side has like all these perfect colors, and it's got this gold shimmery metallic in it, and I really like that other side, so that's what I decided to do. I just flipped them all over. The paper on the other side is striped. It is an old My Mind's Eye paper. I don't remember what collection or anything like that, and it is old, so you might not be able to find it anyway. But it has this like corally color. It's like a dark coral, and then a pink, and then a light pink, and then this lighter green color, and then a couple of darker greens, and a black. And I just liked the way that it looked, so that's what I decided to go with. And all of my other photos or layouts for this particular trip have all of those kind of colors in it, so it worked out perfectly. Now I'm just going to layer some of these pieces up behind the photo all the way to the right. And off camera, I did go and stitch around the entire edge of my layout. My sewing machine is not set up so that you can view it from my camera, and so I apologize that you're not able to see that, but I just want to put about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge, a black stitch all the way around. So nothing fancy, just plain old straight stitching. And I didn't show you all of the time that I spent like drying the different layers of ink that I put down. Nobody really wants to sit and watch paint dry, so I just kind of cut that part out. And with this particular stencil, the little pieces or the little fish are so small, it really did not take very long for it to dry at all. Not even 15 minutes, and it was dry. And I did put my heat gun over the top of it for just a few minutes, just to make sure everything was dry to the touch. And my paper is slightly warped, but not too terribly bad. And if you don't want that warping, you can tape your paper down to a surface. Like if I had taped it to my desk and let it dry completely, it would have been completely flat when I removed the tape. But in this particular case, I wasn't adding a lot of liquid. There's not, I'm not painting the entire thing, so it wasn't too bad. I'm going through this box, and if you watch my channel, you know I keep a lot of my embellishments sorted by color into these little boxes. Well, I had an extra box. This one just has all of the ephemera and pieces from the collections that I'm using for this particular album, and so they are all tropical Hawaii type looking embellishments. Now I thought about using that card that has the blue and the green leaves, and that would be perfect. Totally matches my background, but it didn't match the flowers or the leaves with all the pinks in it. So I did rule that out eventually, but I thought about it. That's why it's sitting there. And then I started pulling out other things that I thought might work. I thought these acetate pieces with some printed stuff would work, and they probably would have. And I do like the way that that black looks on top of the mixed media. But in the end, I didn't use it. I also thought I might use this little red label down at the bottom, and then I remembered I had sticker sheets as well, so I pulled those out, and I do end up using a sticker off of that first sheet that I laid down there. The bottom right hand corner says these are the best of days, so I'm going to end up using that. And that is a clear sticker, so I am backing it onto some white cardstock. That is typically what I do with clear stickers, and it probably could have gotten away with putting it straight onto this layout because there's not a lot of pattern behind there, but I just like the way it looks with the white. It's very bold and very, it's not see-through. You can't see all of the detail underneath. So I also pulled out a label that has those same colors, and that's going at the bottom. And I apologize that I'm off screen for that. I need to fix my desk so that my camera isn't doing that anymore. So my apologies. And I pulled out some epoxy flare from Scrap and Happy Studio, and these are a tropical collection. It's got flip-flops, it's got a sea star, palm trees, and There were a couple of other ones that were not as applicable. There's, I think, 6 in the package, but those are the 3 that I chose to use. And I'm using this stamp set from Jen Scow, and it's one of my favorite stamp sets because everything is like really narrow. I just like the narrow font of it, and it's got these little pieces that you can add color to the straight lines or to the O or whatever. And you're going to see that in just a moment here as I get these put away, and then I'm going to get out some color and add some color to bring those colors from my leaves down into the title area. So this layout is actually fairly simple. There's not a lot of supplies involved, and most of it, you know, is all cut from my digital die cut machine, or I could have, you know, if you had dies that have foliage, that would have worked as well. And it didn't have to be tropical. If you were in like the redwoods or something like that, or you could use any kind of foliage that you wanted. And you can see here I've got these Catherine Pooler ink pads. They are my favorite. They are super juicy and works so well on these photopolymer stamps. And I am not using the same color for every single line that I put over the letters. I am kind of trying to make it so that all of the colors up above are represented. So there's a light pink, a coral, and a red, and then this kind of light olivey green, and then more of a minty green. And I really like the way that the title came out, and I like that it kind of just draws everything down to that area. Now I do have to finish up some embellishing in the other areas, but while I do that, let me tell you a little bit about Off the Board. So this is a series that was started by Crystal Barrett over at Pineapple Papers, and last year she did it every day in July, and she has done that again this year. So there are videos every day in July pulling Pinterest pins and using that as inspiration for her scrapbooking. And there are several people playing along throughout the month with her, and we liked it so much last year in July that we decided to do it every month, the last Wednesday of the month. And this year she did it again every day in July, like I mentioned. So there's tons and tons of inspiration for you if you are someone who likes Pinterest and pulling inspiration off of Pinterest. This is the series for you. I highly recommend you go check it out. She actually, all of us, we pull different things. It doesn't have to be a layout. It doesn't have to be a sketch. It doesn't have to be anything scrapbook related. It can be architectural. It could be landscaping. It can be food related. You know, the sky's the limit. Whatever you are inspired by. This particular month we did choose a mood board, which is a really easy one to go to. So if you are having trouble figuring out what you want to scrapbook, go check out mood boards on Pinterest and pair it up with a sketch like I did today. It makes it a lot easier, and it's tons of fun. So check out the links in my description box down below, and you'll see the ladies that are playing along today. This is the final day of July's Off the Board series, but we will be back next month at the end of the month, and we hope you tune in then. So I've added a little bit of this foliage behind the 2 areas. Again, I apologize that I'm off screen at the bottom. You can see just the tips of those pieces. It's just 3 little pieces of foliage with a label and the palm tree epoxy flare down at the bottom. You will see those in the close-ups, and as I pull the layout up a little bit to look at it, you will see it there as well. So I am going to go through and I'm going to add some sequins. So that is probably going to be like the final thing that I do on this layout, besides a little bit of journaling. And my journaling just reads, "A quick stop at a kid-friendly beach with rock barriers for a calmer experience." There wasn't a whole lot else to say. We didn't spend a ton of time there, so that's why I just kept it short and simple. I do have these stickers. These I believe are from Rosie's Studio, and I'm just bringing some gold into those areas and with hearts and a little label that says good vibes. And that's pretty much going to do it. I do stamp the date right below where it says Lydgate Beach with my date stamp, and you will see that in the close-ups. I apologize I didn't get that on camera. And then I am using the wood grain sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I just like the way these look. I know they're a little bit dark. They are brown, but they've got the shimmer to them, and they go really well with the gold and the darker colors in those leaves, because there are some leaves that have a black stripe to it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy this series as much as I do. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. If you would hit the like button down below, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and spending time with me. I will see you guys next time. Here come the close-ups. Bye-bye.